I pop out. So I was trying to catch it, now I turn into a cock out. Wipe the block out, mop out. Tootie when I hop out. Cops out, call outs, they ain't know we ball out.
Today, I'm going to be showing you how you can edit your own Fortnite montage in DaVinci Resolve 17 for beginners. So the first step is to open up DaVinci Resolve. So it's loading up right now. And we're in. And then you're going to click this little button at the bottom that says New Project. And you're going to name it whatever you want. So I'm going to make it Tutorial. Create. I already have a project like that. So Tutorial Volume 2. Alright, now we're going to open it up. And you're going to see this layout. So we're going to move over to the edit page. And if you want to see what I'm seeing, click on this little media pool thing at the top. And click on this effects thing at the top as well, and then you can adjust these however you want. So I'm going to right click on the media pool and say import media, and click on import media. Then I'm going to just find the clips that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to grab some random clips. And then, oh yeah, another thing I forgot to mention is you're going to go click on File, Project Settings, and make sure you are on 60 FPS and 1080p. Save and change. Now you're gonna pick a song. So I'm gonna go and then just grab. I'll use this song. It's called My City by Rawrin. And yeah, that's really all you're gonna need for this. So the first step is to drag your song into the timeline. So I'm going to do just that, and I'm going to delete the audio if you have any, because you don't need it obviously. And then I'm going to find the part of my song where like the actual beats are happening, and I know it's near the end. You're not going to be able to hear my song, but so this is the first beat of my song. So what you're going to do is basically go through your song and find the points that have really strong beats. So as you can see, when you're scrolling through, as you can see right here, there is a really abrupt change in the wavelengths, and you can see it goes up. That means there's a beat. And then there's a beat right here. And let's find one more. This beat right here. So there's a third beat right there. So now we've got 3 beats. We're just going to shorten down the song for now. And actually what I just did there is I picked the spot on the song where I want to shorten it to. I clicked on it and then clicked Control B. Control B, and then that basically splits the clip. So now we're going to go to the start. So now we have our song in. So now it's time to drag in our clips, and so you can go to the back of the song and then just drag it out if you don't want it. Alright, so I'm going to start with this clip. Drag it in. I'm going to keep the audio. Drag the song down to audio 2, and then just drag this in and unlink the clips. Now, I'm going to show you how to add some basic velocity. So this is 100% optional. You don't need to have this, but it makes it look so much better. So you're going to right-click on your clip, right-click on it, and click Retime Controls. And then you're going to find the point where the character pulls out the shotgun. Right there. And then you're going to click on this little black triangle and say Add Speed Point. Then you're going to find the kill. So I'll put it right there, click on the black triangle again, and add another speed point. Then you're going to go to a point in the middle where the character is about to go in with the shotgun, and add another speed point. So now, in this first little section here, you're going to make the speed 50%. The second section, you're going to make the speed 200%. And in the final section, it's going to be 50%. So as you can see, it's going to be a little bit of slow-mo. And it's actually going to look really clean. And now what you can do is actually click on your clip and make a retime process optical flow, mode estimation, enhance better, scaling to fill, and resize filter to smoother. And mine's DaVinci's going to be super laggy because I do not have a good computer. But anyway, that's just going to make it a lot smoother. So now I'm actually going to undo that just for now, just because it makes it really laggy for me. But anyway, you're going to find the frame of your kill, and you're going to click M. and then you're going to close retime controls. So now basically what M does is it adds a marker. Oh yeah, and if you didn't understand how to place markers onto the song, it's M. So now you're just going to drag it so the kill lines up with the beat. And then you're going to drag the clip's audio as well. And then you can just split it after the kill. So you can have like, you're going to still have the keyboard clicks. And then so now you've got it synced up with velocity. So that's going to look really clean. And now you can just drag this down and bring it to the front. So now your clip is synced up. So now it's time to add some basic effects. So the first thing we're going to add is an adjustment clip. You can find that in your effects library on this effects tab over here. So just click on the effects tab, open the effects, and add an adjustment clip. And then you're going to find the frame where the character pulls out the shotgun. So it's going to be right here. You're going to split it there, Control B, and delete the front half so it starts there and it ends right on the kill. Now you're going to select the adjustment clip and put your playhead on it, which is the red thing, and open Infusion page. Then you're going to add this little thing right here that says color corrector. Drag it in, and you're going to add something called a dent. So just, to open up this menu I have here, click Control and space. It'll open it up, and then you can search up dent. And then add the second one, not the one with the DNT, just dent. So now you're going to have, and it's going to look really bad, but we're going to change that. So the first thing is make the size of the dent, bring it up to 1, and then make the strength 0. Now you're going to go into the color corrector, and you're going to keyframe the saturation and the brightness at 1 and 0. Then you're going to go to the and how to keyframe basically is you go to the first frame and click on the little diamond beside saturation and beside brightness and leave it at 0. Then you're going to go to the very end, and all you're going to do is drag the saturation down to 0 and the brightness down to whatever looks good. So I'm going to bring mine to about -0.3. Then you're going to open up the dent, right? So you're going to find the frame where the character is coming in with the shotgun. So I'm going to go about right here. And I'm going to go to size. I'm going to go to strength. And I'm just going to click the diamond for strength. Then I'm going to go to the very, very end right before the kill, and then just drag this down to -0.14. Then I'm going to click dent type and change it to type 3. That's going to look really cool. I'm actually going to make it -0. Sorry, no, not negative. Oh, yeah, yes, it's just -0.16 is going to look really good. So it's going to be like a warp in, and that actually looks really cool when it's at full speed. Maybe it doesn't have to be this low. Maybe I can make it -0.15. So that's going to look really good, and that's going to be like a nice easy build up. It's like a nice low saturation warp. Then you're going to go back to the edit page and grab another adjustment clip, and you're going to make it start right after the first adjustment clip, so right on the kill, and then you're going to make it last until the end of the clip. So I want the clip to end, I'd say about right there. So split and split, so you can just cut off the back. So now you have whatever you want. So now put your playhead on the adjustment clip, open it in Fusion page, and now what you're going to add is, I think it looks good if you add actually no, I don't need a color corrector. Alright, so now what we're going to add is camera shake, and make sure you have camera shake CSHK added in. And then we're also going to add a glow. So then click glow and make sure it's just the normal glow. And now you're going to go to the camera shake, and you're going to bring the X deviation to 0, Y deviation to 0, the rotation deviation to 0.47, the randomness to 0, and the speed to 0.095. Then you're going to click edges and make them mirror. And then you're going to keyframe the overall strength at 1. So on the first frame, click the diamond at 1, and then go to the last frame and bring the diamond down to 0. So we'll just bring the bar down to 0. So now you're going to have a nice tilt shake, which is what a lot of good editors use. Now for the glow, this is where you can just mess around. So I'm going to bring down the shine threshold to about 0.45. So that's going to add a nice little glow. And then I can change the color to like a nice pink. And then I'm going to bring the saturation down a little bit. So maybe 0.75 on the saturation. And that's actually going to look really cool. And on the first frame, I'm just going to keyframe it at 0.45. Click the diamond, go to the very last frame, and then just drag this up all the way to 1. And the last thing we're going to add is a screen pump. So add a transform node, transform XF, add it in. Again, go to the very first frame and bring the size up to 1.15. Click keyframe, and go all the way to the very end, and then reset the size to 1. And if you don't know what keyframing does, it's actually just, so if you keyframe it at 1.15 at the start and then bring it down to 1 at the end, basically over the time of the clip, it'll gradually get smaller, so it starts and ends on the values that you set. So like it just basically, you can start it at one place and end it at one place, so it'll gradually go there. So look, if you open up a spline here and you go to the overall strength of our camera shake, you can see that it starts off high and then it gradually gets lower. So that's pretty much how keyframing works. So now you're going to have like a really nice build up and impact. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the build up and I'm going to make the brightness a little bit less dark, so maybe 0.2. Sorry, negative 0.2. Yeah, more like negative 0.1. So now we got like, that's going to look a lot better for me in the build up, but it's just basically whatever works for you. So now, after you're done the first clip there, you're going to drag in your second clip, and then you're going to add transitions. So I'm going to drag in my second clip, and I'm going to do the exact same velocity that I did on the first clip. So open up your retime controls by right-clicking on the clip and opening it up. Find the first frame that the shotgun gets pulled out. Add a speed point. Add a speed point right on the kill. And then add a speed point somewhere in the middle. Change the first section to 50, second section to 200, and the third one to 50. Go to the kill, add a marker with M, and then just line it up with the second beat of the song. So that's going to be right there. And then just, again, we're just going to now like this, and then just split the clip audio. This is optional, but I'm going to do it. So now it's going to look really cool. Alright, so that's synced up. And now what you can do, you can pretty much just copy and paste these adjustment clips. So command copy, so control C and then control V, and then you can just line it up. So the first adjustment clip ends on the kill, and then the first one ends on the kill, and then the second one starts on the kill and then ends later on, and then you can split the clip wherever you want. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to open up the second impact here in Fusion, and I'm just going to change the color of the glow. So maybe I want it like a nice bluish glow, so something like that. So then that's going to look clean, and I'm just actually going to bring the saturation down a little bit to make it a little bit less blue. And that's pretty much how you're going to edit a montage in DaVinci Resolve. But now I'm going to show you how you can add transitions. So as you can see, it looks kind of lame when the two clips just change abruptly. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your video effects and open up video transitions. And then there are so many transitions to choose from. So you've got your additive dissolve, you've got a cross dissolve, which is pretty much like a merge, which is really cool. Non-additive dissolve is like a clean dissolve. Smooth cut's the one that's like a merge, which is really cool. Dip to color dissolve is like a fade to black. Blur dissolve is a blur, but we're actually going to go down to fusion transitions. And I really like these slide transitions. So find where it says slide down, slide left, slide up. So I'm going to grab slide up, and I'm going to put it on my clip. And I'm just going to shorten it to the length I want. And pretty much we're going to turn on motion blur. And then now we've got a really clean transition. And to turn on motion blur, all you got to do is say you place your transition, you click on the transition, and then it's going to open up here, and then you can just click on this little setting that says add motion blur. And if you want to add a different kind of build up to your second clip, you can always just open up a fusion page, and then you can delete the warp, or you can delete the color corrector. So that's actually what I'm going to do for this one. I'm going to just have the warp, and then we can actually add I'm actually going to add a temporal blur to this clip, which is a really cool effect that actually you can do. That looks sick. So you're going to search up vector motion blur, add it in. Then you're going to search up frame average, add it in. So vector motion blur, frame average. And then you're also going to add a brightness / contrast node, which can be found right there. It's a little sun. So the first thing that you're going to do is make your vector motion blur 5. Make the scale 5. Go to your frame average and make the frames, change frames to 6. So it's going to be like, well, it's going to be really cool. I'm actually going to make the vector motion blur 5 point. Actually, no, 5's good. So vector motion blur to 5, frame average to 6 or even 7 looks nice. And then brightness / contrast, make the saturation 0. Alright? And another, actually that's too complicated for this tutorial. So that's actually going to look really, really, really cool. And then you're still going to have the warp, which I'm actually going to keep. And then all I'm going to do is, you see how on the adjustment clip there's a little white thing. If you hover your cursor over it, there's a little white thing. You're going to click on that, and then you're just going to drag about 10 frames. So it's going to fade in. It's just going to be really cool. So it's like it gradually goes into the temporal blur. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up in Fusion to the temporal blur, and I'm actually going to add a transform node. And then all I'm going to do is at the start, I'm going to keyframe the size at 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I don't need to do any keyframing because I've already faded it in. So no keyframing, and then just make the size like 1.1. Actually, I'm going to make it 1.075. So that's just going to be like a clean little zoom while you're doing the temporal blur, and then it's going to screen pump back out. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. I showed you how to do velocity, build-ups, impacts, and transitions all in DaVinci Resolve without plugins for a beginner. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and please, just please, if this helped you, remember to like and subscribe because it helps me out so much, and it allows me to do these tutorials to help you out. So if you enjoyed this, thank you, and goodbye.